update that they've been trying to work out. I don't know. I just don't know. Well, I am going to Uranium Point for a minute. At least when I repost this, I'll be able to edit all that nonsense out.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
What am I doing?
I don't know. What are you doing?
Let's go to the settlement administrator thing. Commercial produce.
Ooh, produce.
You can only get 5 dirt at a time.
Really? Yeah,
15 dirt.
yeah.
I don't think I've been gone that long.
Yeah, I don't think you've been gone that long for a while. I don't know, but still, it doesn't open a lot of things.
An autophage.
Yeah. Oh.
Autophage just gave my settlement something called Ferrite Lab. Increases productivity. Settlement is prime real estate.
So, yeah. So why Puma figure out what he's going to do with this dirt. I'm going to walk you guys through my base. This is my first base that I did. I did get summary messages about showing it a little bit, and I said I would, so might as well just go ahead and take the time since we're having all this craziness anyway. This is the first one that I ended up with, and I've added to it through the years, because we've been playing this for a while, and I spent a lot of time trying to, I love these new signs they put in where they change the screens and stuff. I thought that was really cool. I got all these little tons of details and everything, but we'll start at the beginning. Hey, the door opened tonight, Puma. The door's opening. That's nice. Yeah, those doors don't always open.
There's a first.
Yeah, right? So this is the waiting lounge, as it were, and this also leads you, if the door opens here, now back to the Nomad. Let me go ahead and just call that here. I don't know whether to modify it or what to call it. So, of course, this is the back of it. That's my little monument up there. My big hello. It took a long time, and on the Xbox originally too, I couldn't do certain things because I was limited. So the PC allows me to do a little bit more. But I have been told when people come to this base that there's a tree that grows sometimes in the Starship platform. So I got this little office area and stuff. Oh wow, it hasn't loaded the stickers for some reason. That's weird. Usually that's all loaded. They're loaded over here. Yeah, and you got this cool little wonder thing now. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in it. I don't know if you guys have seen this, where you can go and display different things that you have found. And I was like, this is really cool because I had the worms, the little critters, my little helmet crabs, some of the things we've come across. But this one, which is probably gonna make it go crazy, gets so big. Oh, they fixed it a little bit. So some of them they project way too big for what you want. So I kind of wish we could adjust the projection. So that's why a lot of mine are planets and stuff. But I thought this thing was really cool. This plant creature that I had found in one of the worlds I went to, that I have a base on actually. Thought that was pretty neat. We're going to switch that back. But like I said, just little details with the little effects. I wish I had gotten some of the stuff that you can only get through Quicksilver, but again, if you guys call our last streams that I did this stuff with, we never got to do the expositions on the Xbox One because it just didn't work. Every time that Puma and I would try to go do one, it would crash. And so we just gave up. So we just started exploring. And, it's just now that we might be able to do it. I'm still nervous about trying to go do it. So the idea behind this was kind of like a flight control is what I was going with. And I added all the new computer stuff and everything, of course. And, you got this little, hey! And you go down and you fall down the hole. That's what happens. Little observation window. Have a little nice view of Yotop. Yes, wonderful Yotop. And if you guys, I will probably share too. I think I will be able to the location, so if you wanted to come see it yourself, or you can just look up all mine. They start with L717. All my bases, they're all uploaded. So if you guys wanted to see all the bases I put together, just if you're that curious. So this is the lab that I worked on for a long time, and you know, tried to make it like a whole bunch of different things. I used these little lighting tables, and I was like on this idea that, you know, it was projecting upwards. It was like a stasis kind of desk or whatever, you know, trying to take advantage of the assets they have. And I've reused this plant a lot. I love that little plant. So this is stuff I found, a little unique, exotic stuff that you can get. Yes, of course, the little Hora. I love the fact that his eyeball. He follows you if you go back and forth. It's interesting. Got the refiner, the little water thing. You know, this came from the freighters that when they had that update, you could go in there and you fought Horas and got stuff from it. So, and of course, a lot of these were set up too because when you have the base, you have the little characters there. They're all on my freighter right now. So I had like made little rooms and stuff for them, and I could use some carpet. I'm gonna take some carpet. So I got some plants growing there, and then this side and the other side also has, of course, you know, wow. I went up the ladder, Puma, and it put me on top of the glass dome and stuff. What the hell? I'm trying to show things. Yeah, look at all those power cores and solar batteries. Oh my god. Oh, that was good. Ow! And I hurt myself. Try that again without going out of the... I went out of the asset again. Well, you can see the glass dome on the other side, which is basically the same thing, so we're not going to tempt fate a third time on that. Wow, that's just weird. When did we start doing that?
Third time's a charm.
Yeah, third time the game crashes again, and I gotta restart it. That's what happens. So again, this was, oh yeah, I love this little thing. I got this really quick silver a long time ago. This little critter just jumping up and down. He's like, hey! Yeah. He's so cute and adorable. But I got the aquarium on the course for Quicksilver. You know, it's kind of like a little lounge while the pilots are coming in. It's what my mindset. Yes, I create stories for all this stuff. This is who I am as an artist and a creator. So you like come in, they drop off the cargo, and as you see, I got like all types of cargo and stuff all set up around the base to make it look like it's actually being used. And I did love the fact too that there's starships that will come down every once in a while and land, and you can talk to them. So it does kind of get that feel like it's a working ship. What I would love though is that if they had people walking through, like, you know, on your freighter, they got NPCs that are walking through your ship. And it'd be cool if you would have like NPCs in your base. I think that'd be neat. You know, just walking around doing stuff. You know, make it so it doesn't feel so empty. But God knows how many glitches that would cause. Probably find them inside tables. So, you know, this is a little dining area. Again, we got like places for people to sleep, dock, which I still wish you could sleep, and the stickers are finally loading here. Taking them a minute. It's weird on the lockers, you know, for travelers and everything, and it's a couple levels. This is one of my favorite things. You know, since the Atlas has these things everywhere, I made like its own computer thing in here. Put a sticker on. I put that on a lot of these just as a reminder of, if you guys know the game, it's a simulation. So, of course, we got the autophage thing in here now because we got autophage. So, little computer stuff, and my little hidden L717. So, she's not fully loaded either. That's interesting. So it's like a tri-level. It's just kind of what I did. It's a really, really big base, and it took forever to get this thing put together. You know, in my spare time. So like I said, I got all these different color crates in here. use the lab thing to scan stuff. You know, also if you visit all on my bases, they have these things, so you can get freebie stuff all the time, which does help out every once in a while. Of course, this little docking area for your vehicles. Why the Colossus is inside. Oh, wow! It's like, I guess one of the critters probably knocked it off. They got these little bone worm things that we didn't have before. Thanks, Hello Games. And they knock everything everywhere. Oh, they just fly through the assets. But it's like, stuff is being transported through the systems, and that's kind of the idea. And then I got my little Maya Saloon dance bar in the club, and I had some of the lights cubes to light them up and everything, and I still wish I could do better synth music, because this is very it's not as good as the one they have. Like little game tables. When I was a kid, we had these table arcade things, and you would sit down, and it was a tabletop with a monitor for the television projecting the game, like Pac-Man, whatever was inside of it, and you could see it, and you could look up. That was where this idea kind of came from. I'm probably boring the hell out of people right now, aren't I? Oh, there's that tree again. Just kind of going with that feel. It just goes on and on. So I got like my med lab here. Just trying to set up for emergencies, medical, all these little scanners, and kind of cool. Probably watching too many sci-fis over the years. The docking thing for people to come in and drop off their cargo to be checked out. Yeah, I'm a nerd. Hey, I got a microprocessor on that one. That's cool. Go back over here. Oh. Alright, we're going to the bottom. So, got my exocraft terminal, and I love this little floating thing, but the noise for the cube, it's very pronounced. That's another thing. Some of these moving objects, the sound effects are so loud. I didn't want to overuse them because it was just overpowering your ears. So, and this is one of my favorite things I created recently. My little spear robot that has arms that move, and I'm trying to make it like it's creating a crate. So, I don't know. I thought it was a cool little ad for something you can do. I like it. I think yeah, see, those are those little worms. Freaking worms. See them? They run around everywhere and knock into everything. And of course, I have my little automatic feeder. And these red things, too, you can get stuff out of them. Nice. Oh god, will you climb something? No, I don't want to. It's like I'm on for the chair instead. Like I said, it'd be cool if you had people walking through here, because it's kind of like a ghost town. And one of my bases I did, it kind of has that feel that something went wrong. And I'm still kind of working on that. That went through the ceiling. Interesting. I didn't even know it did that. We'll have to, of course you got your changer here. But I didn't know it. I put that in the basement, Puma, and it's coming through the floor. It kind of works, but it's weird. It's not what I intended. Maybe I need to.
I want to know where all that nip was just harvested went.
Nip. Oh, your nip disappeared? That's not good. It can go to the other base, and there's still the other base we have that has all that nip.
Honestly, I think I have a full inventory, so I gotta clear out a lot of shit.
close to that base. I need to grab it.
You're fine.
You say you're fine. I don't want you doing anything else. What is this out here? There's some kind of block in my ground that I've never noticed before. This being here. What are you? There's a wedge piece just in the ground for no reason. Okay. Maybe when it glitched out one time, I was trying to put something there. I don't know. That's funny. I love those plants. Yes. Plant. I think you're better than me.
Said eat me.
Right? Yeah, this is my little power station, and then I made a little area for you to go in for all the batteries. Yeah, it's a lot of power this base takes. It's crazy. Let's see how much I'm using right now. Ooh, no, I'm still using less because when I fixed it. And this is another thing that drives me crazy. See all this stuff that's in your house? Like, I get rid of this stuff every time, and it still comes back. You can just get rid of it in general. I don't want flowers in my house unless I put them there. Yeah, that's another like aggravation, like this right here. And now you can keep, you know, I used a flattener too, like flatten it down. And it just still comes back over time. And no matter what you do, because you see where I flattened the trees that were here. And I guess that's just part of the trees you're seeing over here are actually decorations. So they don't grow, but at least they add to the decor. But it looks like even this stuff is starting to grow back again. Like, you can't stop it. Try to push it down. Maybe I'll have to re-upload the base again. And this is another thing too, I had a glitch. This plant is unidentified material, but you can't see it.
Oh, well, this guy just crashed.
Yours crashed too?
Yep, it just did right now.
Really? Maybe something's going on their end tonight. Oh man, we just got a freighter come in. Wow. I love seeing those random ships that just pop in the system or in the atmosphere. That's a Explorer.
Leave it cry. He said it's the final countdown.
Right. Right? Oh my goodness. Well, yeah, that's pretty much it, chat. I mean, there's a lot more to it. I know there's a lot to look at. I know I'm like going over it really quick, but you know, I feel like I'm boring people. So, yeah, like
Story of my life.
Story of your life. Yeah, I love the little all these little details took a long time to put in to get it spaced correctly and to make it look like it was supposed to go that way, you know. So trying to get it on these shelves and everything. And you know, on my freighter, when I used to have the C class one, and when I got the other one that was a B class, it glitched out, and I had spent like, how long did I spend building the inside of that freighter? Like weeks, right? And oh my god, I was so mad. It deleted everything. And so
Yeah, you had to restart.
I had to restart, and I still haven't gone back to finish it because it made me so bad.
I remember that.
That was fun. Let's go to this one. Why you get yourself loaded back up there? And we're show some different. See what else we can get into. I was hoping is nothing. This is one of those. There's no life. There's no space station or anything systems. So I wanted to make it feel like it was kind of abandoned, like it had been here years ago, or centuries ago, or decades, or whatever time frame you want to come up with. And something went terribly wrong. So this is what I was doing. I was taking all the assets and making them like some gravitational thing or anomaly happened and threw them everywhere. Just to give you a little uneasiness while you're walking through, you know? Kind of neat. Still not... I mean, you can still access stuff, as you can see, you know? And get into things. So... But I thought this was a really neat little idea. And I'm still not 100% happy with it. And I didn't go all the crazy levels like I did on the other one because it was like unnecessary. With like the floating chairs and stuff and couches here, you know, so it's the same kind of thing. And then, you know, you go upstairs, like this has beds, all this floating stuff. Oh, yeah, see, I haven't even finished this. I haven't even done this room. Yeah, I'm still figuring out. And its flight control area is all crazy. Try to do it pan it slow so you guys can see without me hurting your eyes too much. So, anyway, and the idea behind it too is that where is the source for all this happening? And I wish I had some other assets to use. Yeah, this is the lounge in here. You can even see like that's all the stuff, but because it all came from this thing. But I reused this. I like to have something more. I could make it look like it was some kind of like etherealness or a black hole or something like that. Something similar like you saw in the series The Expanse. So, but I don't have anything like that. So, this is what I got. But yeah, this is one of the planets I showcased it on one of my videos in the past on YouTube, which was the Mysteries and Wonders, where I went through the whole game and I didn't have any music or anything. Everything was straight from the game from all the exploration. There's just tons of clips, unfortunately. Yeah, it's just, isn't this crazy? Like, this is just beautiful. But I will take you guys to one button. Okay. Let's see what we got. I think they can get dirt here. Yes! You can buy dirt here, Puma. There's 42 of them. If you need to buy some dirt. Yep. I remember one of these had that. So I love this place, chat. Look at the waves. It's beautiful. And if Puma got the fishing thing, we can fish here. Well, so this is another little science lab, same kind of research station. This is also kind of like my vacation spot. That takes you to the moon pool downstairs. It's blinding you right now. It's just blinding me. So this is another good storm clearing. Yay! You can actually see it. Well, kind of. So this is like a beachfront property, and I have my little fishing, automated fishing traps here that I have not visited in God knows how long. There's nothing in them. I wonder if people have visited and taken them. Yeah, they have to. Well, I hope they got some good stuff. If they did. That's what they're there for. So there's a lot of critters on this place too, which for some reason are not here. Excuse me one second. Get rid of this annoying plant. There we go. Yeah, I put it right here on the beach. So, and that's our fishing, that's the fishing, what is it, the boat or something you can get? Oh, go ahead and start feeding critters here. So, let's get fed. I made this little dock. Used the glass one from the original set. Why this is always turned this way, I have no idea. That's where the little sub is. It's kind of my little cabin on the beach. See? Hello, guys. How you doing? Yeah, so you got the Almec harvester here. This is start getting stuff. So, hey guys, yes, recently no. So, yeah, I used a lot of the original first building stuff. Like I said, every base I try to do something a little bit different and try to add something. You know, just like a little getaway, get your little table, little cooking area, you know, one battery. The stairs aggravate me because you can't really place them. You still gotta jump. And there's your top area, place to sit, to watch the waves go back and look at this. This is beautiful, isn't it? Especially when the storms are going. It's just beautiful to look at. I love it. It's very relaxing. That's one good thing about this game. It can be very relaxing. Kind of like all those building type games. So, and then I have this little cargo port thing here that I have a little surprise in that doesn't go off the way I want it to. It's like, I think we have an infestation. It's supposed to just stay open, but it never does. So there's something wrong with the switch that I'm doing wrong, but I think it's pretty cool. Nice little thing. And then this is one of my favorite kind of simple bases to make. You put the antenna on top of your vehicles and stuff, and it's like a bunker. So, and I love coming in here. Yep, you just go right here and have a seat. And enjoy the view that when it isn't glitching out. God bless, it's not glitching. Wow, it's literally glitching really bad. Oh, that's weird, it never does that. They're having a really glitchy night tonight. Alright, let's try here. So yeah, and this has one of those storm crystals where they come out of the ground in the storm, so it's just really pretty to see everything. I don't know why my lights turned off. Insignificant power. I guess I'm getting cut. I'll have to fix that later. But yeah, I like the glass floors too, where you can see the environment and everything. But I'm going to go out here and do some things for a few moments before we call it for the night.
Keep swimming, just keep swimming.
That's right. Alright, so yeah.
Swimming.
Yeah, I love that it has a little portable grill too, so you can you can catch your fish and cook them. That's pretty cool. Yeah, but I got this one also set this up here because the storms, there are certain fish, it says, which we still haven't caught them all, that you can get certain fish during storms. So that's one thing I've been trying to work on. Let me see if I got any bait. No, I got bait. No, I don't have any bait. Where's the one that has the storm? Night fish. Only attracted during the storm. Yeah, this is one. Alright, so we're gonna apply some bait. Yes, I'm trying to guess. I mean, it's not technically storming, even though it's always raining most of the time here. It never dries out. But you know, when the storms are really periodic. You know, they happen pretty regularly. Yes, get that fish. Good morning. Yeah, baby. Well, hello, chat. So, starting a little bit early tonight because last week we had had some issues when we were trying to load up games and everything. So I decided I'm gonna get out a little early tonight and give people a chance to make to get in, but also to catch up on the fact that I was like, what, 15, 20 mates last Friday for game night? But, you know, we just stay over and everything. So it was kind of like off the cuff. I know we said in my last stream that we were going to be doing Wizard 101. We hadn't had a chance to get that done yet, had some changes, but I had a lot of requests from people who watched the last stream to showcase some more of my bases, and which I was surprised, considering that mine are not these big, elaborate, beautiful things that are across No Man's Sky. But because you requested it, I was going to show that before we get into whatever, because I hopefully, and as you guys see my little icon popping on the screen, I'm using Discord now because I'm supposed to have some new travelers joining later this evening. So I figured I'll show some bases and everything, give you guys an idea for those of you who requested it, and then I can also show it later and repost it if you guys are not catching the stream right now, and giving you guys a little bit more today than what we did last Friday. So anyway, I hope you're doing well. It's been a pretty busy week for me as always. I don't know if you guys caught the stream earlier where I was showcasing some of my art. I was doing a No Man's Sky piece. I will be continuing that on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, this Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for any of you guys that are interested in seeing that. If not, if you just like watching me play No Man's Sky or whatever game, that works too. So anyway, let's get into it. So let's start out. And I really thought I was boring people with the base thing. I was surprised that people were like, hey, I want to see more of these bases. And I was like, weird. Okay. You know, I did make a lot of these. And each, as I stated in the last stream, each and every one of them is different. They're a variety, you know, some of them, of course, I've built in. This is on Raybor Sigma. That's in our home system, Puma and I system, and it's an of course, you know, it's an ice world and everything. So I thought about having like a research station type mentality with it, where you had just like a lab. And I always like building close to things, so in case that you're playing or whatever, you can go there. There's another little outpost nearby. I usually try to do trade posts if I can, but it just depends. So, but this is, let's take you, that is the portal entrance, and of course, you know, you got the security and everything there. Let's go to the starport entrance. And I know these, like, stuff is, like, in the way, like the environment, and I know stuff grows over, but I wanted to feel like they just kind of planted there. Kind of like you would see in movies or documentaries, like in the Arctic or whatever. So again, just like on Radiant Point, and if you guys didn't catch my bases, my first base and the stuff that I showed last week, again, it is on YouTube. It's posted. It dropped this morning at some point, so you can watch through that if you were curious about that. Or you can go to the base upload file, and anything that starts with L717 is probably more than likely mine. And look for the blue and orange coloring most of the time, because I've been trying to keep the same theme so people can identify. Not means that somebody can't just come behind me and do the same thing, but I will, if you guys are really interested, I will showcase where the address is for these places and stuff, or the system and everything, so you guys can visit if you want or whatnot as well. That's another way of doing it. And of course, I got my little scanners and lab things here, and I got 2 platforms on this side. Which, of course, I tried to make everything look like it's being actually used. And, of course, I got save points everywhere. Because in this game, I was even playing earlier, trying to catch up on some of my settlements and stuff. And a new world that we found, and I'll show that here later on. But, oh my goodness, it was lagging out, and it was crashing. And the No Man's Sky's been having some problems with these updates lately. But, anyway, so that's the platforms, and I decided to have this huge storage facility in here, as you guys can see. And I'll try to slowly pan the camera around, and I tried to make things look like they were floating, like things that were working, because if you ever worked in a warehouse before or know of it, it's always a jumbled mess. It's never like nicely organized and stuff. It's being used. So that's the feel I kind of wanted to give for this, that it all is just being, you know, in the process of being used. Again, I have all these little things if you have the passes and stuff to get things for free, because I always like giving free stuff. And this is the other robot that was on my Radiant Point, where I took a spear and took one of the little lab lights and put the arms around it to try to make it look like it was actually construction things. Just like the bucket over here, I made it bigger to look like you were actually refining stuff, you know. I would love, like I stated in my last stream, that I wish they had NPCs walking around like you do in your ships and in the freighters, you know, and that would be really cool. I know they have that in the settlements, and that was kind of probably the idea behind it, but man, it'd be nice to see them, you know, just so it wouldn't feel so empty, you know. So of course I had to put an olive phase thing in here because we have the olive phase, and I always try like plants and stuff. I got a lot of the same assets, so it's kind of hard to make it different too when you're kind of limited on how many assets you could use. Plus, you know, if I had more time, I probably would have things where I could get Quicksilver and expositions and all that. But that's what happens when you work. But again, like, I left a lot of the environment here, and of course stuff is growing through. But I felt like this kind of was appropriate considering it's an ice world. And I hate that right there too. When you go up the stairs, it doesn't match up. But there's not much I could have done about that. And if you happen to visit this world, this base as it were, make sure you check out the heaters that I got from the digger freighters and stuff. I put them all over the place, so if you don't have all the upgrades like I do, you won't freeze to death. But let's go to the other side. We're not going to walk through the building again. And let's take a look at all that. As you can see, there's a spaceship up there already. On that side, it has the other platforms. So again, it's the same kind of mentality, you know, where it's being used. I do love the fact that there's ships that come by, you know, and you can talk to them and everything. Hey, buddy, what you got? Let's see what he's got today. Starship is available for purchase for the right price. Thanks, but I'm not really interested in your starship. I'm interested in... Ooh, Triparium's nice. I'll take that. Watch. I'll waste some money. Thank you. USA, have a good day. Enjoy exploring. This is, like I said to you before, I love the signs that change with the graphics and stuff. I love that. It gives a little bit more life to the place, I think, you know, when you're making these bases. So you got the, you know, power thing, another scanning facility, another place to get free items, which you don't need the passes for that one. I didn't need that. You know, I got the water things from the few things I've gotten, and I like putting terminals everywhere if you're selling things or, you know, if you're in a hurry. And again, it's really frustrating trying to get these little items, especially when you're using the controller, because as you can see, you see how it went into the asset here, you know, and I'm like, oh, I'll have to fix that later. But sometimes after you spend like hours doing this stuff, it's like I no longer care. And of course I got these lights and everything is wired, and thank goodness they have that little make the wires disappear thing, or you would be like all over the place. Oh, somebody just came in. Sounds like we got a frigate. Let's see, where is he? Oh, maybe not. Or, he's somewhere. But like I said, this was, like I said, the idea behind it was, you know, just, I always like having lounges for the pilots and explorers to come in. You know, I got a few things growing here for people who need certain stuff that they may not always have the ability to get, you know, or plants and stuff. Like I said, this is one lounge for this area, and I wish there were more plates and stuff. Like, I have had to use a lot of the same stuff for a lot of things, but, you know, you use what you got. And I'll try to make it like little briefcases, like they left something behind or they took a break. I always try to have some exotic. Oh, and the map thing is not loading up really well. Sometimes that happens too, where you are, you know, some things just take a minute to load, and sometimes they don't load at all, which is kind of weird. But it is a lot of things trying to process. That's typical in games, no matter what game it is. All right, so if you go down here. With all this planet has a whole bunch of like really nice critters and stuff. Hey, buddy. Hey, I give you food. There you go. Be happy. So I got a science lab. I believe it's in it. Yeah. So kind of a research lab, you know, where they're looking and viewing stuff. Of course, your change thing for your outfit changers right here you can use. Of course, like I said, I love the little robot that spins around and everything that they put out, like, I don't know, a few years ago. I love that thing. I've used it a lot, but it's hard because if you're not careful, the where you place it, he will actually go outside the building, as he's kind of doing right now. But you can kind of hide it. It's like kind of like, oh, I'm just gonna ignore that. So I do like all of this stuff, and you know, like I said, just taking the time to try to make it feel like something. I mean, if you're gonna waste a few hours of your life building stuff in any kind of game, you know, to me it's like there's an art in that. And there's some people who are really good. Like I've seen some screenshots recently of some bases, and or hell, you know, people making the Millennium Falcon, the NX Enterprise from the show Enterprise from Star Trek, you know, with the Corvettes, and it's just like, wow, I don't know how they do it or where they find the time. Or like I saw one where they actually made the original Enterprise, and it's a base, and they put it up in space. So I can only imagine what they were doing, which I got to try, is taking one of these buildings and just building all the way until they get out of the atmosphere, and then deleting all that and then building on top of that. So I think I want to try that for like my next base at some point. Like maybe try to build an orbital platform or something. That would be kind of cool. But again, it's just like little stuff like here, like trying to make it look like there's generators. And of course, there's atmosphere stuff. The stuff I put in is for practical uses. And I always like to try to have some kind of view. And No Man's Sky is wonderful for views. I tell you what, I really enjoy a lot of the scenery and the time that took in. You know, it's got its quirks, just like every other game. But it is really relaxing and fun to do most of the time. Not all the time, not when it's crashing. Alright, so we're going to go to another base, because I could be here all day just pointing out things to you. And like I told the people who requested, I said I didn't want to take a lot of time, but I would take some, but I wanted you to see kind of things of it. This is my new base that I found. I just made, but let's go to, we're staying in this system for now, and I'll show you the Char outpost. If you guys are Guild Wars fans, you know who the Char is. At least in the original. Yeah, and in our system we have a few planets, and I wanted to make a base on every one of them, except for one, which was just unfeasible. It's one of those planets that had all the mountains, and there's just not a place to put things, really, and it doesn't cause a lot, because you know, when you build into the mountains and the range, it usually grows over it or causes all kinds of problems. So, and I just didn't like the way it looked, you know. Anyway, so of course we got a spillage of horrors coming out of here. That's a nice greeting thing, isn't it? Like I said, now this one is all orange because this planet is really hot. And I have a little thing that should come on. There it is. Warning, spontaneous fires. And it happens. It burns the base. Like I've been in the base in here in certain buildings, and the thing catches on fire because that's one of the random things they have put in. And of course you got your platforms, and I put barriers around this because there's a nice little drop, and you know, just to kind of impede people from accidentally falling off unless they just want to jump off. But again, just like Radiant Point, I have stuff all over the place to make it look like it's actually being used. But when you've used the same assets so many times, it kind of gets boring after a while. Oh look, my table disappeared, and I have a floating television set. Okay, maybe it just didn't load. I don't know, but that's why this one has the orange instead of the blue. Because sometimes I try to do different. Like there's so much heat hitting the base that, and the sun's blaring on this world, that it burned the color away. That was my kind of idea, and I tried to make it look as used as possible. Yeah, I love the fact that's there. I just use that there to warn people because they don't think it's a glitch. But it does get annoying, those little messages, because they will keep showing up if you're in the area. So, of course, you got the little command control, little you know, same thing, kind of same themes on that. I was on this kick for a while. You know, sleeping areas for your pilots, you know, and then we go back in here, and this looks like the power station where I had everything rigged. And I know this is not a real antimatter, it just looked cool. Because I didn't want to build one of those, again, because I didn't have the materials at the time, because some of that stuff takes a lot of materials, and you gotta use it for other stuff. So this one builds into the mountain, which I kind of like, as you guys see, so it kind of goes underground, and it's kind of a little bit difficult to navigate sometimes. And of course, you got your little vegetation area, you know, where the little gardening and stuff, and if we had the guys, I could some of them, but I really don't want to take them off my freighter. I have to some of them back. And this all has solar plants, because of course it's a solar, it's a hot planet. So I tried to have plants like the last base I didn't show, but if you go into the glass dome, because lately when you go up the ladder, you seem to appear on top of the glass dome. So I was kind of wondering if it would do that when I was walking up. But that's some of it too. It's like I try to have plants that would be native to the area, so you would have stuff that people come by and they don't really want to go out there searching for everything. They can grab a few things there. So, and for me. Alright, so we're gonna go back down and go into the other location. And like I said, these bases too were made over years. You know, when we had certain things, and of course I've added more over time. This is their flight control. So, oh, see, the map loaded here. So that's weird. So the little hollow map loaded there. And of course, there's the Atlas, the computer. And if you go back in here, you have another lounge for, let's say, the staff. You know, work employees and stuff. The buzzing sounds get on my nerves sometimes, but that's just part of it. Can you imagine trying to sleep with that buzzing? Unless you just like white noise. But like I said, I like to try to make it feel like it's actually being used. And after a while, I got tired of making them because, you know, and I'll take you to one of my smaller ones, which is basically a bunker. And because, you know, it does take a long time to do this stuff. And of course, there's a science lab up here that you gotta get to by walking in this way. Now, I love the new computer screens that they have right here. You know, the stuff you can put up, the little hollow screens. It's great. It does add a lot to it. You know, because it was so hard to just use those because they got repetitive. But I like the little hollow screens too. But I love these little computer terminals as well. I think I just would like to see some more assets being made that we can use besides having to get them from Quicksilver or whatever. So I got a little farm up here, solar power generators. Like I said, some of these that have critters, I also try to have, because if you guys play the game, you guys know every critter carries different things. Ooh, speaking of critters, look at this guy. And there's one of those spontaneous fires. Look at that. Isn't he cool? I don't know how that works. A squid on a planet that doesn't have water, but he's making it happen. So, and this right here, since we have so much of the settlements, I decided to make it look like they were still building something. You know, like it was in the process of working and stuff. Like I said, I try to do a little bit of different stuff on every planet I go to. You know, if I take the time to make a base, just because if you do the same thing over and over, it just gets boring, right? Oh, make sure I lean up, because when we were doing a test stream, test recording last night, I noticed I was leaned back and you couldn't see me. You only like saw like my chest, and that was it. Okay, so I showed these. Let's go. Harmonic return isn't done yet. But let's go to Elysium. Like I said, we're staying in the same system for right now. Wow, it's been a while since I guess I've been here, so it's taking a while to load. Usually it doesn't load, but again, no, it's been having a problem. Like things not loading well, and I used to have this issue on Xbox One, where it took forever to load stuff, but not on the PC. So I know they're having some issues, definitely. But I know they're going to get to it. So, alright. So this is Elysium. This is another world in our system. And of course I built right next to this little outpost thing. And this one's just a simple, like I put the portal inside this building. You know, glass building, kind of neat when you first come in, I think. You know, and they have some really big critters here. There's this little outpost stuff. There's a trading post right off in the distance. So there's a lot of stuff nearby. And ironically, this planet originally was a paradise planet. And every once in a while, you'll see a big giant worm flying in the sky. I don't know if it'll show up tonight. They usually show up during the day. But again, this is a little lounge area. A lot of the same stuff, flight control, computers for people to use. And yes, again, there's my little plant that I put in bowls, because it's one of the few things that actually fits in the bowl and kind of looks like it was going to be there. There's a wonder thing for Lumen. If you guys caught my last stream, I was showing a few of the planets in that system. So, very simple. Again, not that much. I do like the sticker stuff on the ground. You know, I tried to make it a little bit different, but you know, there's a little farm over here for the big critters, which normally they're around. Hey, there's a bug. Like I said, there was no bugs or anything on this planet before, but every time they do an update or they make things go extinct, it's like they kill. Like we get some weird stuff that follows when they upload. So I'm not sure why the sky's looking like that. It's like almost like there's a building up there, but there's not. That's interesting. There's the flying worms, the little ones, but the big ones around here, let me tell you. Yeah, it really looks like, I don't know if that's part of the way they put it together, a programming thing, and it's just showing up, but almost feels like we're being watched. We're in the Matrix. So there's this one. We'll go on to the next one. Like I said, this one doesn't have that much to show. This is when I was starting to get tired of building all those big bases. I was like, I'm tired of building the big ones. Can I build a small one and make it interesting? You know, different challenges. Okay, so I'm gonna take you to Mono. I can't even pronounce that. I love the night sun. Hopefully it's night when we get there. But this one was just traveling around, and I was looking for those this big artifact buildings where you can exchange artifacts and hopefully get a better upgrade to kind of get those milestones and stuff. And as always, most of the time, like, I just start traveling. I just hit the, go into warp and just hit different systems just to see what I can find. And there's been some really cool things, and then, like I said in the last stream, there's been a lot of the same things, and it's like, nah. And you know, you kind of get disappointed, but every once in a while, there's a few things that you're finding, you're like, well, that was really cool. So, man, it is real loaded slow tonight. So, but you know, what can you do about that? I mean, it is a huge random generated program. So, eventually, after a while, you can only add so much. But I still think it's impressive what they've been managed to do. Sometimes I wish it was more condensed so they could have focused on a little bit more. I hear from cohorts that Hello Games is working on a new game that's in one world, and they're going to focus on the continents, some kind of fantasy thing. I could be wrong about that, but that they're going to like use kind of a random generator, but they got a lot of small areas, so that's probably going to be crazy, I would imagine. Wow. We're gonna get there eventually. Maybe. I'm hearing sounds of activation. Okay, here we go. So I thought that was cool. Like when you first, this is Tachi. And a lot of these I didn't name. Some of these I've renamed, some of them I've left the names or made the name smaller because they had like Tachi maybe 9x7, but I'm like, I can't stand all those numbers. But I thought this was cool when you first warp in. We see that. You know, like I said, just some kind of visual appealing. Oh! What's going on? Okay. So this is that artifact building I was telling you about. It's literally right next door. And on the screenshot you see I took for the base at night, it's gorgeous. It's just amazing. I love it. It's a really cool building. So this one is using some of the other later building materials that we had. And so I used like one of the settlement type buildings and tried to make that more like that. Like I said, the regular estates just kind of get open. Of course, you got a kitchen area. You got a little aquarium, some plants. You go up over here around the corner and not hit the stairs. Got the computers, you know, weapons to pick up on your adventures, multi-tools. Of course, my little robot fan. Little computer hardware, you know, a couple beds, you know, just kind of make it feel, and I like putting the little horrors everywhere because they seem to be appearing everywhere. What planet are you showing? And it's not showing, it's just, all right, let's see, what wonders do we have to show? Yeah, these are all my wonders. Like I said, normal time I have to use the planets because they don't, if you use the critters and stuff, it blows it up too big sometimes. You can't resize it, unfortunately. Alright, we'll go outside and see what we can see. There's a few interesting critters here. If they're out and about. Like that little tentacle thing, which is friendly. Don't look friendly, but it's friendly. So this is also where I found my little flower creature that's in my wonders. Ah, there he is. Oh, of course we're looking at grass now. Ah! Camera today. Come back, my friend. I must put you on camera. I love on the ships too, flying around and everything, because they're so near a that base and stuff, or trade posts. That's another reason why I like building close to those, because sometimes you get like some really cool stuff. Yeah, here he is. This is where I found him. Yeah, this thing is just really cool. This living plant critter. Definitely different. And that's why I like traveling. You know, finding stuff like this. You know, just really unusual things that you wouldn't be, you wouldn't expect. Oh, you got nectar. I forgot about that. Ooh, super nectar. And of course, you can ride them. To a degree. They kind of do what they want. If you guys have ever seen my Critter Madness video back when it was during the No Man's Sky Beyond era, they kind of just walk on their own. As you can see, it says suggest directions, you know, where to go, and it doesn't always do what you tell it to do. But again, this is kind of cool. And I like the fact that this game isn't just about killing things. You know, running around and destroying them. You can. But I like the fact that you can interact with the critters. You can interact and explore. It's like, you kind of can do what you want, because we got so many games that don't allow you that one, just that wonder. Recently, though, last night, we came across a very interesting critter that tried to eat me. I didn't even know what it was. And I was like, so much for the friendly critters. But I do like the variety, because not everything you would come across would be friendly. So, but it's nice that it's there, that you can adopt them, that you can, you know, interact with them. You know, it's not just they're, you know, some walking asset or NPC in the background. Hey, I love the plants. I could deal without having the deadly plants everywhere, though. So, I made this. It looks cool during the day. A little sitting, you know, kind of gazebo thing right here. And so you can just sit down and look at the glitchy. It's been doing this a lot. Alright, we're going to get up instead. You can sit down and look at that. Look how cool that is. Isn't that cool? I mean, that's some nice little effects. You know, I really like it. It's just beautiful. Sometimes it's just nice to just sit back and view the wonders around you, where they are in reality, in our own world, or virtual. You know, I can just imagine what all this looks like in VR. That's pretty crazy. We had a new traveler join me and Puma and Crom, who probably will be joining with us tonight. Hopefully, if all goes well. And he was telling us about the VR and how that works and everything. It's pretty cool. I'm kind of curious, but I don't know if I can handle it with my glasses. And lately, I've been getting like small bouts of motion sickness, which I don't know where that's coming from. I guess it's just being old. All right, we're gonna go to this one. This is the Gamma Bunker. So this is Alters Gamma. I always have to have Puma to do these things because I can't. I got a slight speech impediment, so it's hard for me to pronounce certain things, and so I have to make up other words sometimes or try to get something similar, like Porky Pig, you know. But yeah, so this is a radiation planet, and again, I try to put bases on planets for where you would need materials, you know, or resources. Like sometimes some quests want you to go to a radiation world. Sometimes you gotta get ancient bones or whatever. And it used to be worse than it is now because they've condensed a lot of it down to like a lot of the same planets, have a lot of the same stuff. But you get these different worlds to go to that you could go get stuff. And we used to go to this planet a lot for the ancient bones because they're the only one we had. Because they were really hard to find. Now they're everywhere. Now they're in our home system. Alright, Alters Gamma. I think that's that right. Ah! I can deal without all of the bloody plants. Yeah, they used to be only in certain areas. You know, back in the day when No Man's Sky, you know, buying on, but now they're everywhere. So, this is the Gamma Bunker. And again, there's a trading post nearby. I am going to put some food in this thing, even though it's night and they may not come out. But again, this has a lot of critters as well. Oh. I'm trying to harvest goods that are not there. Oh. That's what happens. Losing my mind. I don't want to put that many in. Just put 20 in there. Let's see if we can get some friendlies to come by. Go away. Ah! Speaking of critters. Yes. I hear you behind me. Yes. Yeah, I love how they do that. The bugs. It freaks me out. Though, I'll be honest. I'm like, okay, buddy. It's like, are you angry? No, you're not angry. But some of the plants we've seen where you have these bugs, they were trying to kill you. It's like, okay. So I'm like, my instinct is to run away. But, you know. Hi. Yeah, I mean, look at this thing. Yeah. But he probably thinks I'm scary too. You know, I just love the fact that you can ride these things. It's like, yep, we're going off to adventure. Alright. Alright, my little friends. But they have this, the unit should have been picking it up. Well, maybe too far away. But they have like this mucus stuff that you can use for cooking and some other things. So I've been trying to collect that. But, alright, so I made a little walk path to a degree. Like if we're built inside of a mountain. I got 3 Starship landing platforms. 42, if you guys are a fan of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you should know what 42 means. And again, this is just like one I showed before where you have just a basic shell. I mean, because sometimes you don't need a lot, especially if you're just working on trying to get a base put together. You know, and you just need a quick little base and stuff. So I kind of like this one where it's just a bunker. Plus, it's radiation, bunker radiation. That's where I first came up with the idea of these bunkers. And of course, I love having, you always got to have a view. I mean, you can't go without a view. Oh, wow. That's new. I don't remember that plan. Oh, interesting. You know, computer, yeah. Yes, I'm not sure what I'm activating there. I'm trying to remember. Wow. Okay. Wow, it's kind of like that plant I use over and over, except without the spikes. It's very pretty. I like that thing. So, Oh, there's the other big guy. There he is. You finally showed up. Hey, buddy. Look at this guy. He's huge. Yes. Yes, you're wonderful. I feel like I'm in the Jurassic Park movie. Don't step on me. Hey, watch where you walk. And that's cool because I've seen those critters like that before, but not that big. So it's kind of like, even with the random generator, you got the little guy here. Yes. Yes. Awesome. You can see this on my face. Okay, that's great. Glad we had this moment together. I'm just going to check the harvesting robot. Yeah, I just want this real quick, and then I'll leave y'all be. Yeah, have a great day. Nice bugs. That's another thing. I have a character that I created for my own universe that is a bug. Because it's so hard to create a bug critter like that and to make it seem friendly unless you make it really cartoony or like Disney style. So that was one thing that was a challenge for me, and at some point I will show that. Alright, I got this base and one more, and then we're going to move on to getting into something. Well, no, I got to show you all that last one. Those things I think about. Hopefully this one won't take forever to load either. That's okay. We'll get there eventually. But yeah, like I said, as an artist and a guy who creates characters and stuff, it's nice to challenge yourself with things and stuff sometimes, trying to come up with stories, backgrounds for stuff. So that's probably another reason why I kind of like this game, because I'm a big sci-fi nut. And the fact that just all these random things that happen, I would love to be a part of something like this. This would be great. To be able to work on something like this, to help create things for it, that would be awesome. One of those things. Oh, I switched extra crap. Probably the submarine. Because that's where we're at. And of course we're not moving this. Fine. Now this is a planet that I did not discover when I was doing Reaching to the Center of the Galaxy quest. If you saw my video on that a long time ago, I had my little character internally screaming. Because I was not happy, to say the least, when I got it. So that's another thing too. So this is a water effect, and I fail. This is technically underwater, and they still have some glitches with that, which drives me crazy. Even though it's sealed, I read some different ways of handling it, but the fact that it's inside, I really wish it didn't do this. So, because there's a moon pool down below, as you guys can see there, but I shouldn't be detecting any water. And I have taken apart this base, I don't know how many times, and put it together to try to stop that. Use the underwater base components, all that jazz, to try and not make it do that. But yeah. But this one and the Illicit Galaxy, if you guys are there, if you play the game and you're there, this base is 3,000 light years from the center. It's almost like the closest you can get. It also, the original person who found this base, this planet, found a portal that will take you straight to the center. So he had it in his description. But I built this one on the lake. It's like a really big lake and stuff. I thought it was kind of neat, something different. And of course my submarine is... I don't even ask anymore. But yeah, this one has 4 platforms. And I thought it was cool to have it built on the water, you know? Like, it's kind of neat. Because you had like these floating rocks and stuff off in the distance in some of the areas. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, I got a visitor. And look, when the ships land, it pushes the water. I failed. I apologize. But yeah, when they take off and land, it like makes the water effects, so it's like constantly water. And when this place has storms, if it happens while we're here, it's kind of neat because it washes over the platforms and stuff. Hey, buddy. Mr. Coax, what you got? I will offer to trade. I do not need to explore. Well, why not? Save me from having to hunt it. Well, thank you, sir. And you too. Have a good day. Yes. But yeah, I just love this the water and stuff. It's just kind of neat, the bouncing. Let's see if we got anything in our automatic traps. Nope. I do believe I've had people visiting. Or you have to stay in the area sometimes, I guess, for a while for it to actually start catching things. But I've gone back to other bases that had that, and I had been there like weeks, and there's fishing stuff in it. So I don't know. I'm hoping that the reason why I left those is for people that maybe, you know, it's helping somebody. That's the idea, you know, to help other travelers and stuff too, build a community. All right, will you take off already? So we can see the cool water effects. You're gonna stay here all day, aren't you?
Weather warning.
Oh,
Incoming storm.
there we go. This is kind of cool. But I love the purple sky, the stars, the clouds. It's art. I mean, if you really think about it, this is all art too. I mean, there are artists who made this. There are programmers who make this stuff happen, and that in itself is an art form. And are you gonna leave? Are you just gonna walk towards me? What are you doing here? Oh, no television. Nope, you're just gonna keep doing your thing. Okay. Let's see. When the storm kicks in, you guys are able to see some of it at least. So I got flags and stuff, and wow. This is gonna be one of those really dark storms. This is like, I should be inside, right? What am I doing outside? But yeah, see how the water bounces around over the platforms? You know, if you ever been, wow, that's a waves. If you ever, let's go inside. Well, I'm trying. A second. So you guys don't have, you can hear me, and we can look from the outside. But this is what I thought was cool. You know, the waves coming in, and if you ever been on a boat or a houseboat or something, or like at a dock, that's the kind of like where my thought process went with this. You know, when I was younger, in the 80s, everybody I knew had houseboats, and we would go visit people. My grandmother had a houseboat one time, and you know, I always had an affinity a little bit for the water, but you know, and just like I said, wow. And see, that water is not coming inside. Isn't that cool though? That is really cool. And he's still out there. Look at him. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep checking my spaceship. Whatever. All right, let's move it on. I love the quirkiness in this game sometimes. All right. All right, we've seen those. All right, let me take you to the very questionable hell planet. Of course, he takes off as soon as I take off. You see how it goes. So this planet we found, and this is when they first dropped the big flying worms, and we were searching for them, and just randomly came across this planet, Puma and I. And when I was on this world, I was like, this is hell. This is not good at all. And then when they added the summit stuff, the radiant shards and all that things, and this planet became one of those, and it's like, yeah, this planet's even getting worse. But that was the first time I saw the gigantic worm come out, and it scared the hell out of me. I was like, what the hell is that? You know, and I'm trying to scan it too, and I could not scan it, and I still cannot scan this thing on this planet, no matter what I do. But somehow I got it when it magically appeared on Elysium Port one day, when I was on that world, and I saw that pop out. I was like, oh, come on. You know, I got it scanned, but
Incoming storm.
this place is awesome. Yeah, if you see the name I named it, Helmuth Prime, yeah. You know, so this is the idea behind this one. Let's go outside. This thing has radiation storms, firestorms, all kind of storms, storm crystals. I mean, it's nuts here. This is one of the most crazy hodgepodge planets I've ever been on. And I gotta build a base here. And what you guys don't see, we'll have to wait till everything clears, is that the planet itself, the base, is actually off the ground. I felt so afraid to be on the ground because of that bloody worm. I was like, no, we're building up in the sky. Anti-gravity, something. But that was the idea. That's why it's called the Titan Vanguard, where this is a base that's containing all of the bad, all of the terrible things that are happening on this world, and trying to make sure that it doesn't spread off planet, off world and get into, society or whatever. And of course, the same thing with the lounges. Yep, there we go.
Storm clearing.
Even when it clears, it's still hard to see in this place. So, but at night, I mean, look at this. And it constantly rains here. So that's another thing. It's like, it's always raining. It's like, oh, the storm's over? Oh, okay, great.
Extreme toxicity detected.
Yeah. I didn't have a lot of upgrades when I first came to this place. So I almost died a few times just trying to build this base. Because I was like, the radiation's going to kill me, the fire's going to kill me, there are horrors on this planet. I mean, it is nuts. It has these really funky alien plants, and there's some strange critters on this planet too. But as you can see, there's a teleporter right there. It should be close by. Yeah, down there is, we'll just drop down. We're going to be crazy and drop down on this planet. Oh. Like, look how crazy this place is. And it's a dissonant, I think I said that right, planet. Oh god, I hate that new clouds that appear. But anyway, so if you happen to fall down, you don't have to worry about not being able to, if you don't have the jet boosters to get back up. You see that big crater out there? That's from a worm. That's how big these things are. And, and they want me to go searching for this thing underground, which I have, and I still can't find it. So, but yeah, there's the 189. That's the sky flight control there. Let's go back inside a little bit, and I'll show you guys around here. We'll start in the basement. But yeah, it's kind of like an alien theme. Like if you guys ever seen Aliens or something, where it's like, this is not a place you want to be. So I got the generators, backup stuff down here, your changer. That's kind of the idea. Like this is the engineering part, mechanical, whatever. And we're going to go up. We're going to keep going up. Okay, so again, because this is such a hostile planet, I did a med lab up in here with the science terminal and stuff, and I thought it was cool too, the little screens on the beds that you can attach like you're diagnosing people or something. That would be neat. Again, I wish you could make people lay down or whatever. Alright, this is the flight control for Titan. And I made it a 360 room because you want to see what's coming around here. I would imagine, like, I want to see everything. Plus, you got the platforms all around you, because I think there's 6 platforms, Starship platforms. But look at that! Look at the thing this flew through. That's another reason why I made it a 360 room. It's like, this place is wild. I come here every once in a while. I may do something special during Halloween for this place, just so you guys, we may go worm hunting. Just to see, to show y'all how crazy it is. Or we might do it sooner. I never know what we're going to get into. Alright, so let's go back outside. Because sometimes he likes to appear. That's another hole we came out of. I mean, this thing does all kinds of damage. And one time, he flew through the base. I was up in the tower, and it was like, wow! So, cheap followers. Oh, I can't afford it. And if they don't want to watch me now. Oh, yeah, I love that little bot stuff that comes up all the time. So, I know people probably do it. I mean, I figure if you are enjoying what I'm doing, you're going to watch. Now or later, whatever, but I don't know. I don't have any money. I'm an artist. You're asking the wrong guy. But yeah, I put the power thing on top. I thought that was pretty cool since we're floating off the ground. Also, this is where I got lucky, and this is where the power field was. It was actually in the sky. And I'm like, wow, so building up top is a good idea anyway. Lovely. Of course, the one day I want you to show up, you ain't gonna show up, because it'll shake the whole place when it does. But the little message bot out here, I left this in case anybody came by. Go over here, see if it goes off. Oh, it's streamlined. Yeah, worm side. Oh, see? There he is. Oh, scan. See, every time. That's what they do. Now you imagine, you're just chilling. Like I was just showing you that. And what does he do? He comes flying out. It's just like, wow. Oh my God. This planet. Yeah, and I also... Now we have a toxic rainstorm. Remember, we had a fire rainstorm when we first came here. I'm so glad I got boosters. Unless, of course, I run out. Yeah, that's why I made the teleporter downstairs, because not everybody has those upgrades. And I didn't want them to be trapped and get killed or something, like let them get back to the base. But, yeah. Oh, that thing. Still gives me the heebie-jeebies. Every time. And I like critters. I like all kinds, but that thing... get me off this planet. Deal with that later.